Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Bell Ringers podcast with yours truly, Ryan McDonald,
I'm Ty Press.
going through Hot D episode 7, the Red Sowing. But before we get
Yes,
into it,
sir.
remember to, if you're on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, asking questions, or whatever. Support. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow and give us a 5-star review. Now, let's get into it. This
Yes,
episode,
sir.
written by David Hancock, directed by Loni Paristier, don't really know. But penultimate episode. Not sure. Kind of going back and forth as to whether or not next episode we're gonna have anything actually going on, or if it's just going to be set up for third season. Some of the, I guess, trailer for the next episode makes me think we're gonna get something going on, but I'm kind of confused. I feel like it's not a usual Game of Thrones thing to make the last episode a pretty eventful episode.
It's not always eventful, but I think we're the fact that the penult did not kill any main guys. I think we could possibly get a character death that could shake the ground a little bit. And I don't know, I don't know about a main body, like main head. My I'm thinking maybe like a Allison's brother, possibly a casualty.
Yeah, but then that would be
Somebody.
eventful. That'd be a battle.
It would be a battle then, huh?
I mean, maybe with the fact we only have 8 episodes, they are kind of pushing more of this through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll get into
You
the
think we'd
episode
lose
and
a
then maybe go
possible
on.
Kristen Cole?
What?
You think possibly lose Kristen Cole?
It'll also be a battle.
I know, but this like that doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a massive battle. It could be like a
Just,
dragon takes a army by surprise.
I mean, I would still call that pretty eventful.
Okay,
But
but
I
it's
see what you
not much
mean.
of a battle when it's one dragon against like a battalion,
Yeah, no, I get it, but
or like something like
I
what
saw
like they
some
have.
burning in the trailer, so
That's right.
we're gonna get
I'm just
quite a
saying.
bit of
And we
things.
didn't get Cole last episode
No, I know, which is
or this
good.
episode.
Finally,
I
no,
know what a good episode.
I
Like
think we're gonna.
literally been a top tier episode. No Cole makes sense.
I have heard that there have been leaks for the next episode, and it's been kind of funny. I've seen a bunch of memes where it's just like, oh, like Kristen Cole is like doing security at HBO and he's just sleeping. That's why he wasn't
Yeah.
in that last episode. But let's get into it. We start this week with right off the ending where Seasmoke is a new rider. We get Rhaenyra and Adam on the beach with their dragons behind them.
Hmm.
It's a pretty cool visual as it's just like they're both sizing each other up.
Yeah.
They're both walking up to
It's
each
like a
other.
standoff right
Yeah,
now with your piece behind you and the massive dragon.
and I know like Seasmoke now is a new rider, but I'm kind of surprised at how kind of like upset or like aggressive he seems to Rhaenyra. I don't know if Seasmoke is just pissed at like, oh, you tried to give me a new rider. That guy stunk.
I think it's a borderline possessive thing. Like his boy's out there vulnerable. Rhaenyra's like storming up on him. Like he's like, yo, like check yourself. You're not don't step
Yeah,
up on
but
my boy like that.
I mean, she's also just walking up. I don't know. It's just I would have thought like these dragons, like the fact that they basically live together, would have just been like, oh, what's up? I don't know if they kind of like.
You'd
So is
think
that?
that, but look how quick Vagar switched sides.
Yeah, but that's more because like he's also taking on the aggression of his rider.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, awesome visual. The zoomed out of the beach with both of them walking up with the dragon behind them. It looked awesome. I love obviously getting any kind of dragon conversation. Like you have Rhaenyra's eyeing up Adam, but you have Cyrax and Sea
Yeah,
Smoke screaming
just
at each other too in
yeah,
the background.
talking shit over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was that. I love anytime like hearing the dragons like not like in aggression, but almost just like seems like they're talking to each
Just
other.
like barking back and
Cracks me
forth.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, obviously Rhaenyra has no idea who Adam is. We've only seen, or we've seen him, but she has no idea who he is and his
mm-hmm.
connection. And she kind of immediately is like, "Oh, what do you want? What are you looking for?" And he's like, I did not choose this. The dragon came
Yeah,
to me," which I don't. I mean, she does seem like she
still,
ends up believing, but like I gotta imagine in the
yeah,
beginning she's like, "That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't happen." But then he basically just immediately bends a knee and just goes, "I just want to serve my queen. I want to be loyal," which was
yeah.
kind of
I
cool.
want to learn how to be a dragon rider.
Yeah, kind of cool and just kind of also smart on his part. Like you're a new dragon rider. There's no way you're gonna walk out of this winning if you try and fight. So you
Yeah,
absolutely just have to be like, nope, I'm picking your side. Which I think Rhaenyra kind of also is like, oh, that's you're a little quick to kind of pick sides. But I mean,
Yeah,
and also like also for him, technically he's been serving her as queen with the fact he's
serving
under
under
how,
Corliss.
yeah. So
Right.
technically she's always been the one he's been serving under. So it's like not really picking a side. He already did that.
And any doubts she could possibly have would be extinguished if he just admits that he's Corliss's bastard. But obviously,
Yeah,
he decides not to do that and keeps that a secret. But yeah, I mean, if he would have said that, then she would have been like, oh, like no shit, he's on
yeah,
my side. Then like that makes sense.
yeah,
His dad's my
yeah.
hand.
But I mean, when she does ask about his parentage, he kind of just says, "Oh, like my mother was a shipwright. Um, she wasn't anything, and like she said, my father wasn't anything of worth or something." So
My
yeah,
dad went out to get milk 20 years ago. He hasn't came back yet.
so he kind of yeah did not say anything about who his father is. I'm sure like she'll find out eventually, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess that might be for next week. Um, but then we go back to King's Landing, and Allison's getting her wound cleaned by Maester Orwell, and she basically, I mean, there's really nothing of note here other than the fact that she says, like she spent her, I think she says we spent our lives serving our house and the realm, and we're just cast aside and basically hated by both. Which I don't know how. I mean, Maester Orwell is not hated by
Yeah,
anyone or cast aside. He's
dude's
yeah,
still doing pretty well.
still in the council. So I don't maybe I don't know if she's talking about her and Otto. But yeah, basically just like, oh, like look at all this work I did to try and get my kids in the place that they are, and now I'm just kicked aside.
Right.
And then she also says nothing is clean here, and then we get a look at a rat on a table running around by the food.
Well, there's no more rat catchers. It
Yep.
makes sense.
Why has no one bought a bunch of cats yet?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what we got in Game of Thrones. A bunch of cats running around. That's where Arya was trying to catch one of them.
Yeah, I think this scene right after this, though, she walks out, and that's when she tells
Yep.
her Kingsguard that she
Sir Rickard.
wants to go camping for a bit,
Yep.
and nobody else is
Kingswood.
coming besides you.
No
Just me and you,
handmaidens,
dog.
just me and you.
Yeah, let's do a little camping trip. Let's get to know
Yep.
each other.
Yep. And then they basically just walk off, and Sir Rickard's like, "Oh, this is weird. No handmaiden, no nothing. All right, let's
Mm-hmm.
go, I guess." Then we go out to the I guess the courtyard where
Yeah,
Laris, and Jasper Ironrod are up top, kind of looking over the balcony, talking, and we just see Aemon just basically giving the two of the white cloaks that are well, the two surviving ones that Aegon appointed, basically just sending them to the wall for their crimes of starting a riot. So I'm pretty sure I was right. The one guy died, and that was the one like Aegon's
yeah.
boy.
The people that were escorting
Yeah.
Allison and Helena
Yep.
to the chapel, I guess
Yep.
you'd say, were Aegon's
Yep.
boys, and they did not do their job
Yep.
well. So
I
yeah,
didn't.
one took a brutal stabbing by a mob, and
Yep.
the other two were sent to the wall for not doing their job well.
Yep.
Which I don't think they did their job well once
Nope.
their
Nope.
entire time in
Not at all.
service. Like they did not need to be there. Send them to the wall
Yep.
so they can get some of them killed. Like they're not
Yep.
going to be good soldiers
I
at
didn't
all.
remember their names at all, but I was right. It was like the one guy that was like fixing or adjusting his like stuff as he was like standing behind
Mm-hmm.
Aegon at the council. He's the one that must have died. But I also think it's funny that like they get sent to like go to the wall and take the black. It's like, well, that's the Stark kind of picked sides for Team Black. So are they just gonna be walking up to the wall and then Kragen's just gonna see him like, up, you're joining us. Let's go. We're gonna fight the people that just ain't to the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt that.
Well, I
I
think,
but
yeah,
I just thought
I
it was
think
kind of
once you
funny that
get
they.
sentenced to the wall, you kind of you no longer
Yeah.
there's no sides in
No,
anything.
I know. It was more just like the funny thought of like, what if that happened? He's like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
going. You're gonna go fight Aemon. Aemon.
yeah. Welcome to the wall. All the Night's Watchmen are heading to fight for Rhaenyra. That
um,
would be good. I
but
think
the
it's funny too. Like those are just some horny bastards, friends of Aegon, and now they got to go take a pledge to not have sex anymore. It's
oh
like
yeah.
this is a they found the perfect
But
punishment for these guys.
I mean, they already took a pledge to not have sex. I don't think it worked the first time. I don't think it's gonna
Yeah,
work the second time.
but I think they're gonna be a lot more strict with it the second time.
Yeah, but
Like you,
we know the men of the black kind of also just go around in that the town right near
yeah, I
there.
guess you're right. They
I mean,
if you're in deep enough and you're old enough, they'll let you bang
yeah.
some motel maidens.
Which I kind of wonder if like right now with like the men at the wall, if like, they're a little bit more strict with that than they are when we see them in Game of Thrones. Because I'm assuming
I
right
could see
now
it.
like the kind of the crew, it seems like the black is actually like a little bit more well manned and well kept.
I mean, shit, Ryan. Winter's right around the corner. You never know when they're gonna come.
Yeah,
Like these
winter
White
is a
Walkers could be
hundred
at our
years
door any
away,
day now.
basically.
They could be at our door tomorrow or 300 years
Yeah.
from now. Who
I mean,
knows?
I'm assuming. I don't. I don't know, I guess we probably do get a winter, probably right in between this and Game of Thrones.
They
We probably get a small winter in between there.
yeah, I mean definitely because Jon Snow and them were born in a long summer, but I think they said in Game of Thrones before that there was like a
Yeah,
real long
but that's what I
bitter
mean.
winter.
Like most of the people we saw, like the only the older people were had seen a winter.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, mainly we got Laris and Jasper talking, and Jasper kind of brings up, oh, like I've heard through my buddy who heard from his brother that there was a fisherman that said he heard from this guy that Sea Smoke was riding around with a new rider.
Mm-hmm.
And Laris is like, oh, like you bringing me? Are you like saying this? Are you gonna go try and like tell this to Aemon and seek like approval or whatever?
Retribution.
Like, or I forget how he puts it. He's like, are you gonna like try and get a
Want
pat on the
you want
back
your D
basically?
sucked or something?
Get a pat on the back, and then Laris is like he's like but no, Jasper was like, I'm bringing it to you because like you're the guy for with whispers, so I'm kind of like hoping for some advice on this. Like, do we go and take this to him? And he says like, he's like, if you find this useful, you are welcome to go take it and give it to Eamon as like your own whisper and seek approval. Because I mean, Jasper probably also sees the fact that Eamon's kind of put him down recently. He's like, I'm trying to help my boy out. Maybe not have the whole council just get ripped apart by Eamon.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Laris advises not to tell him. I wonder if this is kind of like he's like trying to keep this from him. Like if Eamon did maybe like shit on him the last episode, if he would have told him, but maybe he's like, you know what, screw you. I'm not gonna tell you anything
Uh,
that might help you out.
I don't know if it's a completely out of spite, but I think you're onto something with like if he hadn't completely shit on Laris, like he would have been much more open to telling him
Yeah,
like anything he hears. But like now he's kind of like, dude, this guy could fire me at any second
yeah,
now. Like I don't want to give him any information that I'm not pretty damn confident about. But like,
yeah. I mean, I think he is trying to keep some information. Like,
you think he's withholding? I mean,
I think
like
he's with yeah, because he's still really pushing hard to get Aegon back up.
he is absolutely, but as long like he
I
also
see.
like they if they lose the war, Aegon also is no longer gonna be king either. Like he still needs them to win. It's just
Yeah,
like
I see what you mean.
I think it's just like he like Aemon's a loose cannon. Like
It's probably
he's
a little
like
bit
I
of both.
dude, the fact that it's like your friend's brother-in-law's sister's cousin's
Yeah,
fisherman's father, like he's like I'm not going to him with this
yeah,
information. Like I'm gonna get my head chopped off if
yeah,
this isn't true.
yeah.
So
Because
I
it's
mean,
probably a little mix of both.
mm-hmm.
Um, but then we get the return of Adam and Rhaenyra to Dragonstone, and you know we Jace looks over the bay and he just walks off kind of a little upset. He's like stomping his feet like, "Oh, I guess I got like I guess I got a new dragon rider. Cool. I'm not special anymore." But then
Yeah, I mean we definitely get into how Jace is
yeah,
feeling about Adam.
they all walk into the council room and the old guy that got smacked, Bartimus, he's all pissed off and like Corlys is basically just like, "Dude, come on, let's wait for the queen." But then someone says the queen's not gonna be joining them, which I don't get. Like that seems like you kind of need to go tell them what happened. I think that
Yeah,
was kind of a
it's
dumb idea.
if one thing if you're out somewhere, but you're just
You
sitting
literally
there with
just
like
got back.
Missandei, like
Yeah,
literally
well,
just like having your own little private conversation, like it's a small council, like you know you got some incapable like old idiots in here, like you got to run this system and
yeah, like,
like you want to be respected by them, bring them the news and tell them how it is. Don't let like I said,
yeah,
somebody just come in and report what's going on, and
yeah,
then you're out hiding with Missandei. Like it's that's not a good look.
yeah. I mean, like you just got a new draft pick. You got to come in and give it a press conference.
Yeah.
You can't just have like the coach of the
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
you can't just have like one of your wide receivers come in and be like, yeah, coach is he's in the back room. He's not gonna come out and talk. But I think it's a pretty important time to like walk in with Adam and be like, hey, this is Adam. Don't know what happened, but Sea Smoke chose him, so he's a new dragon rider for us. Let's get him fitted for some new clothes and you know just show him around. Because like then also like
Yeah,
you could have gotten like Corliss being like, oh, like I mean he might not have immediately said, oh, it's one of my children, but at least you could have been like, oh, he like Corliss, you probably know him. He's one of the ship workers or whatever in Driftmark.
right.
So I think that would have been a little bit better. But no, like you said, she is currently with Massaria in her library, I guess. Um,
Sorry, camera
You're good.
Still looking
Looks like a
good.
smudge. Yeah, a
I
little
know.
smudge
That's
on
what
the
I'm trying to think.
lens.
All right, we're gonna bring it in deep here.
But
Oh wait, wait. This looks better, I think.
yeah, it
A
does
little
look
bit.
better.
Yeah,
There you
we're
go.
all. Yeah,
There
that's
you
better.
go.
There, well, lights out.
But
All
this
right,
is this.
say repeat everything you just said the last 20 seconds so we get a good clip for it.
But we're in the library with Massaria and Rhaenyra.
hmm
And Massaria kind of brings up, he's like, it'll be better to look under the sheets and the wood piles rather
Right.
than like, cause like Rhaenyra almost like I guess like why she wanted to go in there right away instead of going to the council was like she wanted to keep going through those books, keep going
Well,
through the
she's
books
definitely
and like
yeah.
find other
Her
ones that might have like little Targ blood in them.
her theory is turns out to be true. Like in her mind, Adam has to have some Targaryen blood somewhere, which means I know Sir what's his name? What's the guy that died
So
in
Stefan Darkland.
Darkland was a failure, and it kind of made her somewhat think like maybe I was wrong about this. Maybe you need to be like of royal blood, like top tier. You can't just be some smudge that has some blood in you.
Yeah,
But like,
it's like how soon did you have like how close to the blood are you, kind of
yeah,
thing.
but like Adam kind of I think proved that like it could be a few generations past. So
Well,
now it's
but
like
the
get
only thing
back
is
to the books and find some more people.
we have no idea because like even like he like Corliss mentions it later like oh I admit I didn't know of your mother's heritage. I think the assumption now we have to go by is his mother
And
was a dragon seed.
yeah, I think so too.
Like so basically like it was like almost like Corliss was like it was like Corliss with Rhaenys again. Like his
I
the mother probably was pretty close, either like the daughter of a Targaryen or like the daughter of a dragon seed himself. Like it has
I
to be pretty close.
I truly just don't see how it can't be Corliss. Like any like when Rhaenyra and Laenor wed, they said multiple times like Valarians and Targaryens have been wedding for like decades. Like the I feel like it's crazy for Corliss to be like, yeah, there's no shot it's anyone in my lineage. Like
Well, it's because like
you're the closest family to the Targaryens. You're of old Valyria. You guys are like if they're not gonna like be with their relatives, they're
yeah,
gonna go to you guys first. Like
I
I
s-
don't understand how Corliss isn't the assumption of like being the guy that's
I
his descendant.
because I mean like I've kept I think it's been almost like the past like 4 or 5 episodes I've gone back and forth on like whether or not they can be. But Corliss mentions he's like my family's no dragon lords, so they're because even like he's like I didn't know much of your mother's heritage, but I am no dragon lord, so like it must basically like oh if it's something from your mother's line, like he kind of confirms for us, but like it's like back in old Valyria there were like 40 dragon lord families, and the
Mm-hmm.
Targaryens were actually one of the lowest one, like they were not seen as top
Yeah,
tier, but they were I don't know maybe they were one of the only ones that had dreamers. I don't know if that's the case, but that's why they got out before the Doom,
I
and I
think yeah,
guess
they fled to
yeah
Dragonstone and they were looked at as being like kind of looked down on for leaving Valyria and
yeah
going to Dragonstone, and then obviously the Doom destroyed
yeah.
all Valyria and they came out on top. But
But yeah, like the Valarians are from Valyria, but I don't think it's like not all the people from there, old Valyria, are Dragon Lords.
right,
So
that makes
like
sense.
they were probably still masters of ships or whatever, or like big into navy. But
No,
I'm assuming
I
like
get that. I'm just
but-
saying, since the Doom, they like say that like the Valarians and Targaryens have been wedding for a while. But I think that like I think when we look at it as in Corliss's side, Corliss is the head of Valyria. Like anyone that's being wed between a Targaryen and a Valarian are gonna be in King's Landing with the
yeah.
royal family, not so much back on Driftmark.
But like I would imagine like if it's coming from Corlys' side, then Corlys himself could have been a dragon rider. And why have we not? I mean,
Right.
unless they just like see him as a like why not even
But
try? But
he could be a dragon seed, which they could see as not being liable or not being a actual possibility. And until now, it seems they are. But I don't
no,
know.
but I
Like I
think they're
said,
saying there's I don't know, but
it's we're gonna assume it's Lady of Hull or whatever the
Lady
hell.
of Hull.
Yeah, Lady of Hull, not Hull. Hull.
That's a clip right there. Lady of
Yeah,
Hull is the reason why he's a dragon rider.
yeah. The Lady of Hull is giving Adam his dragon seed.
Salt and sea right there.
Yeah.
uh, but
So
back to the sea.
after they discuss What's it called? Missaria. I keep calling Missandei. It's
That's
Missaria,
that's
right?
the other, yeah, that's the Missandei is the was
The Red
like
Witch.
no, that was Daenerys's like right hand girl.
Oh, okay. So Masari and Rhaenyra talk, and then yeah, Masari pretty much tells her like you're better off. Like I know a ton of Targaryen bastards just roaming the streets of King's
Yeah,
Landing, rather than going to your like books, like just look under the bed sheets and like pretty much implying that like
yeah,
I know where they all are.
yeah,
There's hundreds of them like silver haired bastards running around King's Landing. Let me just go recruit all them, bring them over here, give them a shot, which we
yeah.
do end up getting.
And like technically, like, cause like their blood would be like some of them, like their blood would be less watered down than like what Sir Stefan Darkland was, cause
Oh yeah,
like Rhaenyra was like, oh yeah, your grandmother's grandmother was
yeah.
a princess, but like it's like oh like well like some of the
I
dragon
mean,
seeds like
Aegon
their
was out there
father,
pumping out bastards
yeah,
left and right.
like most like the dragon seeds like they're just a direct descendant of one Targaryen that went out for a night,
Yeah,
so like their blood is a lot less watered down, so it's like that's where you're really gonna get the better like seeds from.
yeah.
But then like Rhaenyra kind of pushed back. He's like, oh, like no, like like are the lowborns really gonna follow? Like, and then Masari is like, oh yeah, like they're gonna follow you and be as loyal as anyone else. And
Which she does a good dig here. Like, yeah, Rhaenyra's kind of talking about like a
yeah,
lowborn. Like,
that's
there's a level of class and respect with like a
yeah,
noble birth, like a nobleman that like
cause
you won't get from a low
yeah,
man. And Massaria goes, "Are you talking about that same level of class and respect that your brother and
yeah,
your two half brothers are portraying right now when they usurp your throne
yeah,
and like literally are and killed your son? Like, is that the level of respect you're talking about? These people,
yeah,
like, you're gonna get more bravery and loyalty from a lowborn than clearly
yeah,
your own brothers. Like, that's you can take that argument
yeah.
to yourself, brother.
Or even it's just like it's gonna be at least equal. Like you're not really gonna see any
Yeah,
difference. And like because like, the quote is like in the highborn houses there's ancient fealty, there's honor, and then Masari goes, oh, are your brothers doing what they do? Are they bound by honor? And she's like,
yeah,
you got a point there. Got a
yeah.
point. And then she goes, let us raise an army of bastards.
Touche.
Which is a little. I mean, we kind of see more of this later on as Jace gets upset, but kind of also Jace is a part of the army of bastards.
Yeah, I mean, you already kind of were building an army of
Yeah.
bastards.
But then we go to Driftmark where Corliss see. Oh no, no, never mind.
No, that would be
We're
no.
on
That's
Dragonstone.
yeah.
I was reading Adam. I was thinking Alan. But Corliss kind of goes in. He wants to see this guy. I wonder, like, because like I guess he had to have gotten some knowledge of like who it was. I don't know if he got the name
No,
or maybe it was just
he
like, oh,
was
like,
told
hey,
he was a worker of his. Remember?
oh yeah, 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 you're right. So Corliss walks in. Adam turns around, and Adam just goes, "My lord," and Corliss goes, "Oh, my lord." I don't know if he was waiting for, he was hoping he was gonna say father, which would have been weird.
Papa.
Daddy. But Adam begins to like ask for leave. He's like, "Oh, like my lord, please, like grant me leave. I am needed for bigger things." And even before he can finish, Close kind of just like stops in his hand. He's like, "Your leave's granted. Like
Yeah.
no problem." And then basically
Like,
just
no,
says,
dude, you're gonna have to ditch that dragon, go back to scrubbing the
"Yeah."
boat. Like, I don't
And then
care what Rhaenyra needs.
he just gives a good well done, turns around, and leaves the room. Which I think I
Mm-hmm.
saw like some people, mainly not like sexist here, but mainly women being like, "Oh, like that was so rude," and like a bunch of dudes like, "No, that's like pretty much as much as you can ask for from a dad."
That's all
It's
Adam wanted to hear was
all
well
it's
done from his father.
and like yeah, because you see Adam gives a nice smile. It's like that's the first time his father's really acknowledged him and
Yeah,
said he's proud. And I
and
think
even
it's
on
really
like a
all he
deeper
can
note,
ask for.
I heard like it was kind of like so Corliss kind of like fought his way up to the where his like where he is now and like the title he holds.
Yeah,
So I think he kind of like he didn't give these guys the level of respect because he didn't want them just being able to climb the
yeah,
ladder of like hierarchy without having to earn it. And having this bastard son who he pretty much has not given anything
yeah,
to get to the level of being a dragon rider and now being like a person in Rhaenyra's court, he now can see that he like
yeah,
that's the kind of shit that he respects a lot. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, he's like, well done, dude. Like you
yeah.
did it. Like
Well, it's
you
like
really like.
I
I'm
almost think
proud of you.
he's like more proud of like those two than he would be of like Laenor, because just like Laenor really didn't do anything of note. Like he didn't really seem like he was all that interested. I mean, he was on Sea Smoke and like helped with like the Triarchy, but it
Mm-hmm.
really didn't seem like he was like about like he wasn't like about like oh like working with the ships and doing this and that to kind of like help the like to help Driftmark and like do all that stuff. So I think he kind of sees what Alan is doing as like a big shipwright and all that stuff. as like being a little bit more like prideful and being like, yeah, like you're following more of what like the family name is doing.
He's also claimed his son's dragon,
Yeah, it
which is
looks
kind of
just like
cool
his son
too.
as well. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
do. Well, there's a lot of that in this episode of family claiming their previous family's dragon.
Mm.
Um,
So after this, I have Oscar and the Riverlands arrived,
yep,
or River Lords arrived to Harrenhal, and yeah, so Oscar meets with Damon first. Oscar Tully should specify. Oscar Tully, the young
yeah,
lad,
not Oscar the Grouch,
whose whose father or grandfather recently just kicked the bucket and is
grandfather,
no longer the lord of the
the
what's the
Riverlands,
Tully? What would be like the Tully's place though? Is it
like they're Lord Paramount, Liege Lord,
okay? But
whatever.
yeah,
Like
but Lord
they're
Paramount of
the
the
Lord of the
Riverlands, right?
Riverlands.
Right. So Oscar now takes this title, and Damon's like, "Hey, like, good job, bud.
Yeah,
Like, you did it. Like,
you
I don't
put
know if
that
you did it the way I told
you
you to,
put that
but like,
feather pillow over the
yeah.
over his face. But I mean, Damon knows that it was Alice that
Look at
killed him.
us. Look at us.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
I
Right.
didn't even need to tell the Blackwoods to go do all that stuff because we're right here now.
Yeah.
Which ends up being just such a mistake because it literally 2 weeks later it happens.
Right. So they Oscar and Damon are talking about convincing the other river lords to kind of side with them and like give their men to the army, like shelter at the Heron Hall, and
Raise the
let's
banners.
fortify this place. Let's make a unit here. And Oscar immediately goes like, "You've made quite the mess here, bud. Like, I've been gone for 2 weeks, and now every River Lord absolutely hates you.
Yeah.
Like you've made my job a million times harder. Like, I was cool to do this alliance here, but you've literally made everybody besides the
Yeah.
Blackwoods completely hate you. Like, I gotta really bust my ass here to get the guys on your side." And
You get Damon saying, "I don't need their love, I just need their swords,"
yeah,
which has always been about. He doesn't care if anyone loves him or
no,
hates
not at
him. He
all.
just wants them to just say, "Yeah, I'll go fight for you."
He just needs, it's just bodies. He
Just
just
needs
sees them as
dudes.
bodies. They don't have families. They're just bodies. But yeah. So the two of them go out and meet with all the other river lords or the
River
people
Lords, yeah.
or high families. And well, yeah, Oscar's right. They all hate him. They all have serious problems with what the Blackwoods have been doing and all like the shady shit that they've been up to with the Brackens. The Blackwood standing there. Willem Blackwood
Well,
is standing there with two Bracken prisoners, thinking he's about to get some like reward or something. And yeah, they're all livid. Everyone, but it's like literally like Blackwood and Damon versus everybody else in the
yeah,
Riverlands. They all are pissed off of the Blackwoods for what they're doing. They're all like see Damon as a tyrant, and if they don't follow, like we don't want to follow this guy. And it takes Oscar being like, "Dude, I get it. I hate him too. I don't
yeah,
like this guy at all. But I'm a man of honor. We've already sworn an oath to Rhaenyra, or we swore an oath to Viserys. He's his heir was named to be Rhaenyra.
yeah,
We hold that oath seriously. I don't like Damon, but like we got to do like this. I'm holding loyal to my oath. But he does flip it on Damon, and he goes, "Listen, the only way this is gonna work out is someone's got to pay for the crimes you guys committed." Puts it
yep,
on Willem Blackwood, and he goes, "Damon, you gotta do this. You gotta swing this executioner's sword and prove to everybody that you are admitting your wrongs,
yep,
and we can move forward from here, pretty much."
yeah. Because they know they can't take his Damon's head, but they're like, "All right, Damon, you have
Right?
to condemn what he did in your name and say it
Yeah.
was wrong, and then you have to be the one to swing the sword." Like the
Which
guy that
again,
passes the
great
sentence
scene.
has to also swing the sword that we got from Ned Stark. But I did
In
like
my
the
mind, I'm sitting there like, oh, like some real stuff is finally happening in Harrenhal. Like maybe this is the end of the hauntings. Maybe
yeah.
this is the end of the dreams.
Nope.
And then they send us right into another dream right after this scene.
But before we get into the hauntings, I liked how like
Yeah.
when they're in the courtyard, like Oscar's like talking. He's like, no matter how loathsome I may find a representative of the prince, and then Damon goes, King, mind your tongue, boy. And Oscar just walks up to him and just goes, will you have our army or not? That was a big. I
Yeah.
think it was big for like the other Riverlords to see, because like the one guy gives that thing. He's like, why am I gonna follow a dude that like a young boy that's younger than my sons? Like, why am
Mm-hmm.
I gonna follow him? And I think that kind of like, well, I mean, he gave a great speech, great pregame speech. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that just like him showing no fear, walking up to Damon, kind of like made them like, oh, this kid's bold. Like, and he's also like, maybe he is kind of worth like,
Yeah,
following. Maybe he does have like that old like that just Tully family kind of boldness in him that we've like is the reason why we follow that family as a house and as our Lord Paramount.
yeah, and he clearly cares about when an injustice act
Yeah,
is done to have the retribution, like to right wrongs. Like you can't get like we're not gonna just because we're siding with Damon doesn't mean all the atrocious shit he just
yeah,
did we can just sweep under the rug. Like no, somebody still is gonna get punished for
yeah.
this.
Because
And yeah, like I said, Oscar's the dog. Like I liked Oscar a lot in the scene. Like he is a cool leader. I would be happy going into war. Like if I'm a River Lord, like hey, this kid's got what it takes.
it kind of brings back Lady Mormont memories of
Absolutely, I
her just
saw a
being a
lot of connections
badass.
with Lady
Yeah,
Mormon. Yeah, I like that
like you
connection.
said, after this, I mean, he swings it. He as he's like he basically gets told he has to swing the sword. We just hear just a bunch of muffled sounds, and you just immediately hear like the cries or like the yells and the winds of the voice, like whatever like Alice mentioned that you hear the winds, and
Yeah.
then swings the sword. Everything gets even more muffled, and you just hear like the thump of the head hitting the ground. And then he walks out, sees a black goat. Walking into his room, he sees a decrepit Viserys holding a crown. And apparently, this was Patty Constantine saying like he told them he's like I'm only gonna come back and do this if I do it in like the decrepit makeup, which made for I think a way better part of the scene because we've kind of like throughout like the little nightmares. So I feel like we've been just seeing him get like just progress more and more through that like period of like him getting sicker and more decrepit and
Mm-hmm.
like dying.
I'm surprised it took Patty to convince them to do this. Like the message of this conversation is like, look at the toll that the
Yeah,
crown
exactly.
holds on you. Like, why would you not show him at his worst? Like,
Yeah,
this is like I like my body fell apart. Like this crown, like
it
this wasn't
crushes whoever
burning.
wears
It
it.
literally crushed me. Like I'm surprised it took Patty to be like, yo, I should look like right when I died
Yeah,
for this conversation because I'm trying to tell him how bad it is to be
yeah.
king. Like it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
But yeah, like he said, Viserys says it crushes whoever wears it. You always wanted it, Damon, and like kind of like almost like goes like to hand it to him.
He said, "Do you still want it?" And goes to hand it to
Yeah,
him.
cuts off, but I have to imagine Damon says like would have said no.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of gone full circle. I think maybe with the other things that are probably going to now happen after this, hoping we're done with the nightmares. And I think that was kind of his final nightmare being like, I actually don't want the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is way more troublesome than I think, and I maybe am not fit to wear. I might be fit to help out the crown and do things for the crown, but not actually walk it and sit on
Yeah.
the throne and kind of have to be the one to talk to all the people and because he's clearly not good at politics. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was also another thing that he saw with Oscar is like he tried to go around in politics and it didn't work and he needed a child to come in and fix everything. And
Yeah.
so I think he's maybe like yeah maybe I can't just rule off of strength and power and I need someone to kind of just talk to these lords and get them to like submit and help.
And they Oscar made it very clear that the only reason that they're siding with him is because of the oath his
Yeah,
grandfather made. Like it had nothing to do with Damon. If it was up to them and there was no oath, they would not be siding with Damon. So he literally got like he had to first of all admit that he was like a little enthusiastic about his approach. Like, yeah, I may have crossed some lines, and like you said, like he literally did not succeed in his mission like at all. Like obviously now he does have all the River Lords and he connected all of them, which almost connected them to one common enemy. Which I guess if you look at it as and he went through that approach, like let's make them all hate me and let
yeah.
this have this Oscar guy convince them I'm not that bad. But
What?
like he did unite the River Lords. He did get a like kind of get a whole battalion to support Rhaenyra in some way, but it definitely was proven to him like, hey, I didn't do this well at all, and then to immediately get thrown into what his brother looked like at the end of his reign. It definitely is like I think you're right. That little pause moment where he's holding the crown, like shaking it in front of him.
Yeah.
I think we're leading to him being like, I actually don't think I want this anymore.
Yep.
Like, I'm cool with being that rogue prince still. Like, let me do my thing. Like, I have one of the most badass dragons. Let me just like be the head of the army, like be the head of the lead general. Like I don't want any of the responsibility.
I do have two things with just like this whole part of at Harrenhal. Where the hell is I forget what his name is, but like the Sir Alfred. He's been riding for 3 episodes to go to Harrenhal. Remember when Rhaenyra sent him off?
Oh yeah,
Where is he? I saw him in the trailer for next episode, but why is it taking that long to get there? He's been
Yeah.
writing for so long. Also, why has no Raven been sent to Dragonstone about these atrocities? How has no River Lord sent a Raven to Rhaenyra saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, why are you allowing these things?" Because like they've talked about it, zilch, not at all.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah,
she not
they like
know?
seems like they have no clue what he's doing in Harrenhal at all.
Which like, I understand he's not sending Ravens back himself, but how is no one else sending Ravens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure how. Like, yeah, you think if this they're connecting Damon to Rhaenyra, you'd think they'd be like, all right, well, this guy's clearly
Well,
nuts. Like,
because like
hopefully the queen can get him in line.
they're holding up her banners doing this. Like they're all saying like, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like
the Blackwoods, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So like I don't know, but whatever. But I did like all like in that scene, all like the little like cuts to Simon Strong like giving like Damon's side. I like, oh, this isn't good. He's gonna get upset. He just called him Prince. Uh-oh.
Yeah, bombastic side eye from Simon Strong. He was just judging the whole
But he
time.
was dressed to the nine, so I was like, oh, I guess all that guaranteed money that Damon said you can go out and buy yourself some new gowns, some new
Yeah,
silk. I was like, this
let's put
dude's
let's let's put a hold on all the repairs. Daddy needs a
yeah.
new cloak.
That's what I was like. I was like, I don't know if you're repairing the as much as you say you are. I
Yeah.
think you just need to go to
Um.
Ross.
So yeah, great scene. Loved Oscar. After this, we go back to King's Landing. We get Aegon just struggling. My
Oh.
man's walking for the first. Is this did I skip a scene?
No. I thought I scrolled down too far. I thought you, and then I realized I was
Okay.
scrolling down too far.
So yeah, we get the Maester and Aegon who's taking his first steps. I would assume out of the
Yeah.
bed, and he's got a like kind of like a cane slash like walker he's walking with.
It looks like one of those ones where like like how the people put their arms in it and they have it because it has like a side like bar and then it's like a straight
Yeah,
line. It looks like because it looks like where it breaks like
it
right at the end of that.
it's got its handle, but yeah, I think you're right. It does have something that like will hook onto your
Yeah.
arm almost. But yeah, the cane slash walking device breaks. Aegon takes a hard fall, and the Maester like is picking him up. Laris comes walking in, and it's kind of like the conversation between they walk him back to the bed, and the conversation we have between Laris and the Maester is pretty much the Maester's telling him he needs to rest, like he's beat up, like we're moving too fast on him, and Laris is
Like,
pretty much, yo, we gotta push it up a notch, like the king is not going to have many peaceful sleeps left. Like he literally has somebody that could off him at any moment
well,
just
yeah,
to be able to claim the crown from him. Like, yo,
yeah,
Aegon, like we need to get him in presentable shape
yeah.
as soon as possible. First of all, for his own back, because he wants to be have the ear of the king again. So he obviously is in his own personal gain from Aegon getting back into power. But he's pretty much laying down that like, yo, if Aegon doesn't get back soon, there's a good chance he's not going to make it. Like he needs to be seen as not a bedridden king
Yeah.
anymore, and he needs to take the place back off of Aemon.
Still amazed. They haven't invented wheelchairs yet. Can't just wheel him up to the council because if he's awake, and he should be able enough to like just go to the council and say things. But I guess
I mean,
wheelchairs
they were
aren't
doing
invented
that with
yet.
Viserys, weren't they? They were just
No.
like carrying his chair.
Well, yeah, they were doing that, but that's what I mean. Like, they're just, I guess, they're not very, they're ableist. They're not very helpful to the handicapped. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, the quote from Laris was, "It will be long before he may rest again." I basically is hinting that he could die at any moment, so like he
Yeah.
needs to get his strength up so he can kind of protect himself. But it's Laris that's pushing the Maester to push Aegon to walk, which I'm kind of surprised that he's allowing that and like not like it's kind of weird to see like who has a hierarchy in all these things. Because I would get like that Allison could tell like the Maester to do things, but like Laris is just another guy on the council.
Yeah.
So what right does he have? I guess like the only thing maybe the Maester is just like trusting him because of the fact that
I
Laris
mean, it
is
makes
also
sense.
handicapped, and like he's like, all right, I'll trust you because you may have dealt with this as a child. But
Yeah, but I think like just logically too. Like I think the Maester is like well enough to know that like yeah, he's like Aemond definitely is getting a liking to being the king, and we know that
yeah,
this dude's a psychopath. Like when Larry says that, he's probably like shit. Like you might be right. The king's life is in jeopardy now that like he's making
yeah,
progress. Aemon sees his time period being in charge dwindling. The better Aegon
yeah.
gets, so he's kind of like, dude, like we got to make a push fast before Aemon can recognize that he's getting close.
Yeah, I do think maybe you could just ask one other person to be there to help, just in case. I think it might be good for
Yeah,
two people to be there when
Mason
he
should not
goes
have
for
been
his
walking
walks.
him by himself.
No, that was a
That was
little,
a bold move.
especially with that rickety old like crutch.
Yeah.
Like that was clearly like,
Prototype 1 Kane.
'cause, I mean, the one that Lara's has is probably pretty nice, but
Yeah.
that one was thin. But then we go to Driftmark. Corliss kind of pulls out Alan aside, and he basically tells him of this plan where like, he's like, I need you to gather like dependable fishing vessels and dependable fishermen to go to King's Landing and carry a message to I think he says to one that will be named by the Queen.
Hmm.
Ends up it's a handmaiden. I always remember her name and I forget to put my notes and now I forget.
I couldn't even come close to guessing her name.
It's I feel like I remember it begins with an A, but I can't remember.
It's all
Um,
good.
but then he goes, he's like, oh, like there's a new rider for Sea Smoke. It's your brother Adam, and Alan's like, wait, what, what? Like he's very confused. I gotta imagine he's just been like, where's Adam been? He's off somewhere. But he finds this out, and Corliss says the Queen calls for more riders, and he's like, I admit I wasn't aware of like your mother's heritage, since the Valarians are not dragon lords, dragon riders. But he's like, kind of like he's like, I know, but like if there's something in the blood, basically like talking about like his mother, and I think he's kind of hinting that like yeah, like if you want to go try out, you want to go be part of the dragon tryouts, you can. But Alan cuts him off and says, I wish for nothing of that. I'm but salt and sea, which I think is
Hmm.
all. Like Corliss is just like, yep, you're my heir. You're gonna get
That's my boy.
yep. Just want to see you row that boat, and you're good to go. So I'm really hoping we do get him announced as heir soon. I gotta imagine that's going to happen
Yeah.
because it's. I mean, like Bayless or no, Reyna said, oh yeah, like, I'm fire and blood. I'm not salt and sea. So I mean, that's all Corliss ever wanted to hear was just someone say, I'm salt and sea. I want to take
She
over.
is.
But yeah, that's about it there. Then we go to the Vale
Yeah.
as
I
they
almost completely skipped over this one when I was making my notes. I think I like looked down. It was a short scene. So I looked down and kind of
yeah,
looked back up and caught the very end of it. But yeah, so we are getting Reyna leaving the Vale. You get a
it's Bela,
weird.
isn't it? Or
No,
the
it's Reyna.
God damn, I wrote Bela.
Reyna is leaving the Vale. You have the I can't think of the name of the main lady of the
Pretty
Vale,
sure
but
it's
she
Jane.
Jean
Jane. I think it's like
Jane.
J-E or Jayne, something like that.
Okay, Janae. Jan-
I
she's
think that.
looking over the convoy of them leaving, and if I'm correct, I believe Joffrey is staying with her in the Vale, and I think Rhaena's taking the
Oh, so they're only
her
taking like Damon's kids.
yeah, Damon's kids. She's taking them to Pentos.
I wasn't
Because
sure if I thought she was taking all of them, but I mean,
when I remember when I remember them, she said like Joffrey's gonna stay with Jane of Vale, whatever the hell her name is, and then take the
Jane Arryn.
younglings to Pentos. And I think she did separate them. Just I think like Joffrey's somewhat
Mm.
closer because I think Pentos is like way farther away.
Yeah, it is. It's all the way in Essos.
Yeah. So what we're getting here is Reyna leaving with like a convoy with or not Lena leaving with the convoy of Reyna and Damon's kids, which I believe it's Aegon and Viserys, like the
Yep,
second
yep,
and the third,
yep.
whatever they are. And as we're leaving, like I said, we get a weird shot of Jane like looking over them, like kind of like it has like a weird
Just resting bitch face. That's what I got out
yeah,
of it.
that's a good way. Yeah, wrestling bitch face just looking over them. I don't know what she has to be pissed off about. Whether the fact that she's leading them with what like two baby dragons and not what she wanted,
I think yeah,
but
that's kind of my thought. Is she's just kind of like she didn't get fully what she wanted,
right.
but she's
But
also only giving them 6 swords to protect them all the way to Pentos.
yeah.
And there's
So
yeah, it's
right when the convoy leaves, Reyna kind of dips from it and runs off because she has already seen from last episode the burnt up
yes,
sheeps and knows that there's a wild dragon loose around the Vale. So she goes booking it, trying to find this dragon. Goes back to where she last saw like the burnt grass and the sheep carcass. And I mean, real teaser that we're thinking that Lena's gonna find this wild dragon and possibly claim it.
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's pretty. They're pushing out there because I know I don't want to spoil, but
I know. There's like a weird thing with the book, which like I'm like
there's a
there's
whole
like a
there's a whole
character
new character. There's a whole different character that's not in the show that's in
that
the
they
book.
wrote off, which we think it's like they're hinting at it being Raina
Yeah,
replacing this character,
yeah. Yeah. It's basically it's probably gonna be her like combining her character and this other character.
which is a very curious thing think about it too, with them both having very different roles in the
Yeah.
whole process. But anyway, yeah. So we have Reyna leaving, looking for Sheep Stealer. I'm curious of if she like if we are to get her to claim Sheep Stealer, like what does that even mean? Like what is she gonna pull back up to Dragonstone and Rhaenyra is gonna be like, yo,
Well,
dude, like
yeah,
who the hell's watching my kids now?
yeah.
Like
That's what I don't get either.
you
Like,
had your own job, or is
it's
she gonna take this big ass wild dragon and then take it to Pentos to watch over? I
I
can't
don't think she's gonna go
imagine.
there because like she didn't want to go there in the first place. That's where her mom died, and like she has bad
Yeah, but
memories. So I feel like you said, I think she's gonna go to Dragonstone and be like, hey, I'm valuable now. But then Rhaenyra's gonna be like, yeah, but you just left my kids with who?
with literally just Guardians of the Veil,
Yeah, but I don't think
who
they're
the hell is watching the
I'd
heirs of
say
the throne?
I'm pretty sure like they were planning on just going back any like as soon as they dropped them off. So like
Yeah,
they're just with that Reggio dude.
yeah. So
So I
it's
don't.
definitely gonna lead to some questions with it's gonna be shaky ground on how they pull this off.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's pretty much all of that
but like,
scene.
it's also like it's like how long is it gonna take you to find this dragon? Like if they don't just necessarily they're not like yeah you went to like where like, you saw burnt stuff, but like you haven't seen it since you've been there. So what is your chances of actually finding the dragon?
Yeah, you have no clue what this dragon looks like. You have no clue what to like.
Yeah.
Like you're 0 for like 3 with trying to claim a dragon. So
Also, no one sees her run away. No one turns around.
yeah,
Like I understand
because
like
she's
she's like she's not one of like the tiny kids that need to watch her constantly, but no one's like, oh shit, where did that girl go? They were supposed to go with. She's oh that's weird. We're just gonna sail off without her.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess we'll find out that later.
Who's supposed to be watching these damn kids?
Yeah.
And the babysitter just disappeared.
Um, we go into the camping trip with Allison
Yeah,
and Sir Rickard. I don't really know how long they've been out there, but Allison comes back, gets off the horse, and Sir Rickard's like, "Oh, like when do you plan on like leaving, going back to like when do you plan on going back to the city?" And she's like, "I don't know if I ever do." And
yeah.
he's just kind of sitting there like, "Okay." And then she just says, "I'm gonna go to bed." It's like 5 p.m. The sun's still
I'll
up.
retire now, she says.
The sun's still up, and it's like, I don't. This isn't sounding good.
Yeah,
Um,
real weird. I'm like real weird with this whole camping thing. Like she obviously is fed up with the small council and everything, and like her just getting tossed to the side. But yeah, you got to think about this. Like King's Guardman is like, dude, like you should have told me this was a lifelong camping trip.
yeah.
Like I would have packed differently.
Well, it sounds like the original idea was the life wouldn't last that long with this camping
Or you
trip.
think she came here to off herself?
Yeah, they also talked about in the inside of the episode that I kind of got like some idea in the beginning and when she went to like that water a little bit,
Yeah.
but like I was like I kind of like just brushed it off right away. But then inside the episode they talked about like basically her idea originally was probably to never come back from the woods,
Mm-hmm.
but then she saw a bird and felt fine. So we'll get into that later. But we get Jace kind of yelling at his mom. Uh,
That boy
he's
Jace,
he's
Jace the
yeah.
Face, is actually maybe Jace the Racist.
Yep.
Calling our boy
He
Adam
is
Double D a mongrel. He was not happy with a lowborn claiming a
yep.
dragon.
No, he's social. I don't actually know. I can't think of the
No, classist. Classist.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's like, what are you doing with these lowborn bastards, the mongrels?
Yeah.
And
I
basically
think
just
Rhaenyra goes, they're brave, and he goes, they're mongrels.
yeah.
It's like, damn, Jace.
I think he's kind of just like deflecting how he feels about himself, like how he's been called a bastard, all these things like behind his
Mm-hmm.
back. And I think he's like I have a dragon, so like this makes me different. Like I'm not like I'm a highborn because I have a dragon. But he's like oh like if you give all these, which like kind of like he gets like I think like his whole reasoning is like oh like if you give these people dragons, like some of them have white hair, so like they would almost have more claim to the throne than I do.
Yeah.
Like all of these reasons that you told me that I'm special and I'm not a bastard, you're now taking all of these away.
Right.
And then we get
I like how he also tries to put the blame towards Missaria too. Yeah, so he's like, was it her idea?
oh
Like, was
yeah
this her plan to like obviously like you have a lowborn make it to a seat on like or like a seat in her council, and now you're granting all these lowborn
yeah
chances to ride dragons.
and like yeah, 'cause it's also like what did she do as soon as she got back with Adam? Went and talked to Massaria in the library. Like
Right.
we've seen him get upset already that he's been like left out of the conversation and left out of the planning that Massaria and Rhaenyra are doing.
Mm-hmm.
But he gives a good quote. He's like, "Did you think that I would have dark hair when you took Harwin Strong into your bed, that I might favor him, or did it not cross your mind? Basically, and
Oh,
like,
right. I have the whole quote written down as well. I loved that
yeah,
quote.
just like immediately being like, because like this is, I think we got one scene in the first season where like he's like, is Harwin Strong my father? And he was like really young, and Rainier says the Valarians are our kin, not the Strongs. Or like I think it was like more like a little bit deeper than that, but it was basically like I wasn't we weren't sure if we were gonna get them talking about that again in private, or if that was just like her like saying, hey, like don't talk about this publicly. That like you might think that like privately we can talk about this, but I think this kind of shows us that they've never talked about that since,
Yeah.
which is
I
probably
mean,
not a good
he
idea. I
opens
don't
up
think
to
that's
it about
a good idea to not talk to your kid about this.
right, and we get him opening up about it to Bela too, and he clearly knows that
Yeah,
Harwin was his dad. He's like, they talk about Harwin, and he's like, yeah, like I think he loved me, and Bela was like, of course he did. Like he
yeah,
literally his whole life was in jeopardy, and he still like catered to you guys.
yeah. I mean, we saw them like train like because I mean like that's what Cole got upset was because like Strong was like kind of like teaching his kids way more than he was Aegon and Aemon, even though they're
Well,
all like, even though none of them were supposed to be his kids. Like he wasn't supposed to favor anyone, but he
well, no,
clearly
I think
favored Jason Luke.
Cole was Cole was
Oh
favoring
yeah,
Aegon
yeah,
and
yeah. You're
Aemon,
right.
and
Yeah, you're right.
Strong said
Yeah,
maybe show a little more attention to the
yeah,
young princes,
yeah. You're
and
right.
then Cole was like, "Why are you so interested in them?"
It was something like that, and then they ended up fighting.
Yeah, and then Harwin beats the shit out of Cole. That was just a great scene.
But like I said, like Jace kind of says like he's like along the lines of like I have a dragon now. Like that's what puts me like at my claim. But like if you allow all them all the bastards to have this, it strips me of my like legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Rhaenyra saying, I miss like all of this, but I cannot gainsay which the gods have laid before me. And I mean she did seem sad and upset to say that. I think she's just saying like it's either this or I lose.
Yeah, and I like she kind of throws it at him too. Like, what would you have me do? Like me go face or
Yeah,
Vagar? Like you and Vermax? Do you want to go face Vagar? Like,
yeah,
dude, like we are literally outsized right now. We need all the
yeah.
help we can get,
And it's like
or else we're gonna lose.
they don't have time for Joffrey to get bigger and try and hope that he can tame Vermax or Vermithor. Like they
Yeah,
don't have time for the kids to grow up and try and do that. Like they need
yeah.
the
Reyna's already failed. That was Reyna's their only other choice right now. They have
yeah.
nothing else.
And I also so like, I mean not a spoiler, but this is kind of like a little bit different in the books. In the books, Jace is way more like pushing like being the forefront of like getting the bastards to try out. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
way more for that idea. I think he's one of the ones that says like army bastards. But like he tells the bastards like oh like if you're successful you'll become a lord and your wife will become a lady. Your kids will marry late like your daughters will be ladies and marry lords. All this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it's kind of weird seeing it kind of be the opposite in the show.
Yeah. I like it this way though. Like I kind of
Yeah,
feel for him because like he kind of like you said, he makes the point like, dude, you're all I had to legitimize me as your son is the being
yeah,
a dragon rider, and you're stripping that of me too when you're having these lowborns claim
yeah.
dragons.
Then we go into the actual. Oh, no, I guess we have the recruiting first.
Yeah, we can just
So
they go through.
it's basically just a note handoff, like in grade school. You have Visaria
Mm-hmm.
handing the note to Alan, who then gives it to a fisherman, who is carrying it in his bowl of fish into the city, and gives it to the handmaiden that is in Flea Bottom. Her dress is in all red, which I kind of assuming. I mean, the name of the episode, Red Sowing, is kind of because like in the book it was like the sowing of the dragon seeds when they're like doing the tryouts, and then the red sowing because a bunch of them died. But I feel like they kind of picked the red dress to kind of also kind of point to that as well, like a
Mm-hmm.
red sewing of a dress, because otherwise the choice of red in this scenario is the dumbest thing ever. You're not inconspicuous at all. You're sticking out like a sore thumb in front
Yeah,
of a
that
bunch
dress
of
was not
green cloaks.
amongst the crowd at all.
Nope. But then she just kind of goes around whispering to people, and it's clear
We
that
get our
she's like,
two big guys, our two main small folk that we've connected to. We get hearing about the
yeah,
rumors, which starts off with Ulf in the bar, and everybody is super excited for him because all he's been doing is bragging about being a son of a Targaryen.
yep,
He's This is his chance to like, oh my god, you could claim a dragon, and he's like, oh, like literally did like the classic like I'd go pro if I
yeah,
wanted my
exactly.
bum knee,
If I
like
didn't tear
he's
my
like, oh,
ACL
like
senior
I
year, I would have
would,
went
you're
pro.
right, that would
Yeah,
be so cool, but my knee's so wonky, I can't do it. And they're like, dude, are you like, have you been full of shit this whole time? Have we been buying you drinks, praising your name as a as a descendant of a Targaryen, and it's all not true? And then
It's
you
also
kind of got put on the spot, like, dude, like, has this been all talk? Like, this is your chance
so you're going to
to
pay back all
rise
these
to,
people's drinks over the years if
yeah.
you said you're lying.
This is your one chance to like make something out of yourself, make something out of that name you have, and you got to do it. And they all cheer. They go, "Off, off, off,
Off the
off."
Dragon Lord.
I know, but "off" sounds funny.
Yeah,
It's
but
"off,
I
off,
think it's
off."
funny because like it looked like he's talking like an injury to his leg, which really doesn't matter when you're riding a dragon. You don't
Yeah,
use your legs. It's all in the arms and like your voice.
yeah,
So that injury. But like I think it's just like it's almost like he's been telling himself this lie, or well I guess it's not necessarily a lie, but he doesn't really know for sure if it's true. He's
right.
probably told by his mother that this is true, but like it's like how much can you believe? So I think
Mm-hmm.
he's almost afraid himself to find out that it's not true.
Right. I mean,
But
yeah.
they persuade, yeah, kind of with that chant, everyone chanting, they kind of persuade him to go, because I mean he doesn't want to he doesn't want to chicken out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Hugh talking to his wife, which we don't really see how either one of them finds out about it. Well, I know
No.
we see all finds out about it through his friend, but we don't see how Hugh does. But we just see him talking to his wife about leaving. She's not very into the idea, but we
No.
do find out also like their kid's dead.
Daughter's
Kids, yeah,
daughter
daughter
has
died.
passed. He was not able to protect his daughter or save his daughter.
But getting into, I think Ulf mentioned that he's like the brother of Viserys and Daemon, because he mentions how
Um.
he's the uncle of Rhaenyra or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, he would be. Yeah, I think both Hugh and Ulf are the same age of Viserys and Daemon.
yeah,
So because it like
but
yeah, Ulf calls Rhaenyra his niece.
that's what I mean. But it's almost like Ulf is saying he's from the same father as
Right. I think
Viserys.
yeah, I think they were both either bastard child. Yeah, they were both.
Well, so I have a long
I
Wikipedia.
know about Hugh's mom. I know more about Hugh's mom than I do Ulf's
Yeah.
parents.
So
So what do you know about Ulf?
I don't. That's what I was just gonna go
Okay.
into
Well then
Hughes.
I'll let you go. I'll
Okay.
let you go with Hugh then.
So Hugh, I find out from the actor himself, his mother is Sierra or Sarah Targaryen, daughter
Yeah, I'm
of
just like
King
Sarah.
Jaehaerys.
Right.
Yeah, and aunt of King Viserys and Prince Daemon. So she was known to be exceedingly promiscuous,
Mm-hmm.
entertaining, and um, an uncounted number of men of the court, and was disowned after her and I think three of these guy friends of hers went down and like they were kind of almost like teaching one of the guys like how to have sex or how to they said kissing, whatever. Got caught and she got disowned by her father and he kind of asked, she's like, oh, like has any of them did any of them take your maidenhead, which I'm pretty sure they just mean virginity. And she says all of them think they were the first, or all of them think they were the ones that did. So it didn't really like give an answer, but basically said she did have sex with all of them.
Yeah.
And she suggested that she could just marry all three of them and kind of be like her ancestor, King Aegon the Conqueror or Maegor the Cruel,
Yeah.
and herself being like her proudly comparing herself to Maegor the Cruel kind of sent her father into a rage,
Mm-hmm.
and he placed her under
Well, it's
arrest. And
different, right? When one girl is married to a bunch of guys, it's different from
well,
one guy being married to a bunch of girls.
I think that
One's super cool and the other one's disgusting.
they made it seem like the fact that she was proudly like comparing herself to like a cruel ruler was what
Yeah.
because like it specifically said comparing herself to Maegor was what sent him in the rage, not Aegon.
Mm,
But he puts her under arrest in her bedchamber and disowns her. That night she tries to escape and steal a dragon. I assume she must have gotten caught because she's placed in a tower cell, and then one of her friends, Sir Braxton Beesbury, which is one of the guys that was with her that first night, calls for trial by combat with the king himself. The king beats him, kills him with Blackfire. She was sent into Old Town to join the Faith of the Seven, which she like trained under for a year, and then she went to self-exile in Lys, where she became a prostitute, and then later moved to Volantis and ran her own pleasure house.
mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if they're gonna change up that story for the show, because she did go over to like Essos, but obviously Q is in Westeros now. But she did, according to that, she had three sons that went to Harrenhal for like that big council where Viserys was named the heir.
Okay.
Apparently they all like there's like they all went there to try and like prove or like try and claim that they should be the ones that should get the airship. I think that some of them
Yeah.
took over like jewels and stuff like that and gave them like the lower lords like, oh yeah, vote for me. Here's fifty
My
thousand
mother was
dollars.
a whore, but I am a Targaryen. Vote
But
for me.
even in that, Sarah technically had like the highest claim or the best claim, but she was like, I have my own kingdom over here, kingdom of pleasure houses.
Hmm.
But so she didn't go. So I don't. I mean, I guess technically one of those guys could have been Hugh, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's just like brothers of Hugh, and I don't know maybe if he came over with one of those brothers and stayed, or if he came over at a later time, or if maybe he's if Sarah had him before she fully left. But we that is so he is just a I mean I'm assuming his mother didn't have sex with one of her brothers or whatever, and then had him. I'm assuming it's actually like from another random guy, but
Yeah.
he is pretty strongly related to Viserys and Daemon.
Got a
They're
good bit
just
of
cousins.
Targaryen blood in them.
Yeah, they're just cousins.
Hmm.
No problem. Which also is gonna get kind of well, like I said, it might kind of get. I'm not gonna say
Hold your tongue, Ryan.
it.
But yeah, they
Trying to.
all of them, Ulf, Hugh, all the Targaryen bastards, all get on a boat directed by Alan to head towards Dragonstone.
Yep.
And then yeah, right after that we dive right back into camping, and we get our uh queen queen what's her title?
Queen Mother, I think.
Queen Mother, yeah. Queen Mother, she strips down to her robe and just goes swimming in a lake. And yeah, Rye apparently knows some significance of looking up at a bird and deciding she doesn't want to kill herself.
Well, yeah, I like she said like it was like oh like she wasn't like she thought that was gonna be like her last little swim basically.
Yeah.
And like
One final swim.
apparently there's a I've heard from other people there's a painting like an old like a or it's a painting or like a scene from a Shakespeare play where like it's kind of like this where like the like a girl like drowns herself either like on purpose or she fell but she drowned and apparently like it kind of like the what they show kind of really is closely similar like looking to
Resembles the painting
yeah
to okay.
so like that's one of the things but yeah then she's just sitting there getting ready to I guess drown and then she like just opens her eyes and she sees a bird which I guess is also supposed to the imagery there is like freedom so she's like oh you know what maybe I do have more left to do so maybe
Mm-hmm.
she joins the blacks maybe she's like oh let me just go back I miss Rhaenyra miss my little bird. I don't know. And then she finds out that Rhaenyra's cheating on her with Missaria.
Got all downhill from that. Then she throws a huge tantrum. Goes back to the greens.
Yeah. But I guess then she finds out she doesn't want to die anymore.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
So we need more birds out there
Yeah.
to stop these people from killing themselves.
Yeah. No more. Yeah. Right.
Then
But then we
we
go
go.
to the dragon tryouts.
Yep.
Rhaenyra's pretty one of the most more or one of the more elegant and kind of like dresses that she's worn this whole season. Which she wears right in front of all the bastards, all the poor bastards, kind of just maybe just being like, hey, this is what you could get. You're not gonna be queen, but you could get cooler stuff if you're
Oh yeah,
if
this
you
red dress is
successful
dope.
do it.
I did take note of that.
Yeah,
Like the dress she portrayed in front of all of them did look awesome.
but she like kind of watches them all walk into the castle, and then she but I guess before like she starts to walk down and walk like with them, the dragon keepers are like
Hmm.
just talk to her in High Valyrian, and they're like, yep, we're not gonna do this. We're fine with you trying that one dude, that High Lord, but no, fuck this. They're all
Yeah,
bastards. This is not
and
like the dragons are sacred. They are the last magic of old Valyria in this sick world.
they say
Um,
these are no dragon lords. Like yeah,
yeah,
you're using them as tools, not as
yeah,
mystic creatures.
and basically just being like, oh, like the dragons are like they deserve better,
Hmm.
and they basically she's like they're like, oh, like we won't put up with this. We're not gonna help. But like they did. I mean, I'm they have. I imagine those people can speak things that aren't High Valyrian. Yeah, I imagine it's, like they know the common tongue. But
Hmm.
I did kind of like how that whole conversation was in High Valyrian, so that like it none of the bastards got like we're like oh like we really are hated here. Like they didn't know that. I mean, I had to imagine they kind of got that feeling, but they didn't actually get to hear the Dragon Keepers just shit on them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you're already nervous about going to try and clean the dragon, having the people that were hired to keep the dragons tame and intact are all
Yeah,
quitting because you guys are trying out, definitely would freak you out. I'm glad it was in Valyrian because like that would have sent me to the door if the people
yeah,
that
that's
are
what. Yeah,
in charge of training them are all quitting at my presence.
yeah. Which I wonder if maybe they're gonna come back after this is over, being like, all right, well, like we'll accept those people because the dragons accepted them.
Yeah, maybe we
Because
were
like,
wrong. It did kind of work a little bit.
because you would think like if the dragons accept them that they would have to accept them.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Or maybe we won't. Who knows? Um, but
she's
then
still
she,
using them as tools though, so I think that
yeah,
she still is kind of
but
like
but
going
like they
against what they
are.
go.
I'm pretty sure like they are gonna give them like lordships and like titles and
Mm-hmm.
money and stuff like that. So like kind of just paying them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It is a little bit using, but not fully. But as she's going to walk down there to give him a pregame speech to go talk to a dragon, she kind of like motions for one of her guards to like stop, like because he just
Yeah.
he's following her right behind with like his hand right on his sword. And it's almost like the exact opposite of, well, I mean, different scenarios, but the opposite of like where like Allison did try and stop him, but like when like the white cloaks just chopped off the dude's hand when they're like running out of the sept, like like Rainier kind of just tells him to stop even early, like, hey, I'm just gonna walk among them, let me go,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just be like just gives him a little pregame speech. Basically he's like, yeah, you might never return to your old life.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you might die. And some of you may welcome the prospect of that, as it's better than the alternatives: privation, starvation, and war. And
Right.
he's like, the ones that succeed will be, lords or ladies, and you'll have a castle or whatever. And then says their purpose is to end the hardships for them and like the rest of the small folk and those in the realm affected by this war, and that these two dragons added to their numbers, the enemy will have no choice but to surrender, basically. Which I think, I don't know if she's just telling them this to make them feel better, but either that or
It's
she does not remember how her brother Aemon is, because he's
yeah.
clearly not going to stop.
So it like would make sense. Like if you really count the numbers, she has no clue about Diarin and their his dragon. I think his name's like
She would
Tissac.
have to know about him. I mean, she might not
I
know
don't.
it's
Yeah.
taking a wing, but she would have to
Yeah.
know he's technically out there. But at
Yeah.
the same time,
But
like
like if
his
you look at it
dragons know
number
better
wise,
than like um
Vermax.
yeah. So like it, I don't.
Right.
I think it's basically like he doesn't matter.
Yeah. But if you look at it like based off, like I don't blame her for thinking that this could end the war without having to go to battle if she claims these two, just for the fact that like they're going from like Vagar and Vermithor are super close in size. Silverwing is like I think that Silverwing might be the third biggest.
Yeah, I think
Like Silverwing, I said
yeah, I think it's
Silverwing
close
and
to, yeah.
Dreamfire are two. I think which is Dreamfire is Helena's dragon,
Yeah.
which we haven't even we've seen it for half a second.
Yeah.
But Helena's got it in like a big dragon. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of she's probably not going to be the
Yeah.
best
I feel like
on.
she's probably ridden it like twice.
She might have been riding, but like, I don't think she like is going to be like the war type, the aggressive
She
type.
doesn't, I mean, she doesn't even seem to me, she doesn't seem like one that even rides it.
Yeah, I mean, I could be. You could be right, but like what I'm getting at is
No,
claiming
yeah.
Vermithor, and Silverwing, and then you also have Cyrax, Caraxes, uh, uh, what's Bela's dragon's name? Like
Moon Dancer.
Moon Dancer,
Sea
and
Smoke.
Vermax, and Sea Smoke. Like you have an insane number
Yeah.
count on them. Like I could like if you were to pull up, they would have no choice but to stop because like you're winning that battle.
I agree, but at
But
the same time, knowing Ahmed, he's not going to go out without a fight. He does not care.
I know, yeah, but like that's I think her logic thing is like, dude, like anyone in their right mind would know that it's over. But yeah, I
But the
think
thing
you're
is,
right.
it's
I
like
don't.
you should know your brother. He's a
Mm-hmm.
psychopath.
But yeah, so we get she walks him after the speech. She does say in the end that Vermithor is biggest second to Vagar. So like it's the biggest dragon. He's one of the meanest. He's
Yeah,
called the Bronze Fury,
possibly the most fierce.
most fierce. And then he goes, and we'll be going to see him now. And then walks them all out to the dragon pit. I think
Such
just
bold move
calls
to
him
pick.
by name,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah. She goes like Vermitor. Like I
Yeah.
don't know why for some reason when she pronounces his name in Valyrian, it sounds, he's like, I don't know, like the T is a lot more uh There's a lot more emphasis on the T.
But yeah, she calls out to him, and then you just get this like in the dark dragon pit. You
Such
see
a
like
cool
the
scene.
shadows just start adjusting from like his pure size, and then his head just comes in from like the bit of sunlight that's in there, and he is an absolute unit, just
I mean,
a gorgeous bronze beast.
so much of this scene and like just like this whole like them being in the um I don't know what we call it, just Dragon Cave or whatever, but so much of it is just reminiscent of Jurassic Park.
Oh
So many
yeah.
of these scenes, like them running around, like it walking out of the shadows of like just it, like also like Vermithor kind of has a like a T-Rex type head, like
Mm-hmm.
his head is kind of T-Rex like. So I feel like they're just really pushing that idea.
But she after he gets close, yells out like calm, like be calm, Vermithor, and then she says serve, which
Osiris.
yeah, the Hyris. Which, first of all, you lose all your dragon workers, and Rainier just absolutely crushes it
Yeah.
as one.
Which I
Like,
think that was partially like she like that made her feel good, and it was also like I mean that guy just scared the well kind of scared the shit out of all like the bastards, being like oh
and talk about like respecting your queen after something like that.
yeah
Like,
exactly
she just gets this giant beast to come over and just like, and she pets him like with almost immediately.
yeah someone that like I said like these all these people see dragons as gods, literal
Mm-hmm.
gods. So
And
the
this
fact that
one comes
she
up
just
and
got a
bends his head
god
to it.
to like yeah bend like almost like bend knee to her is like oh this is like if
Yeah,
that's a
this.
god then you're like God's father.
Yeah, you're the Godfather.
Yeah. Is this your daughter's wedding?
Yeah. But she turned her back to him. Just an awesome shot of the head of Vermithor behind Rhaenyra standing looking at all the bastards. And then she yells out, "Who among you will be first?" And we get what could be the most clear not gonna happen
Yeah.
option. Like, no shot this guy's gonna claim this dragon. Dude comes out looking like the guy from the Goonies. And just
Hey,
as
you
yeah.
guys!
As soon as he comes out, you're like, "Oh, this poor bastard's dead." Like, maybe you should have waited a couple minutes, let somebody else take the mantle of going first.
That dude just wanted to be
But
put out of his misery. He was
yeah,
like, I'm
well,
done.
I had this scene going in the back too when Rhaenyra was making her speech. She did aim like a good couple sentences at this guy, probably just boosted him up so much that he came out like, let me take a shot at it." And yeah, it does not go well. Vermithor burns him up pretty quickly. He kind of like goes over, sniffs everybody out, and then goes
What's it?
back to the guy,
But
burns him up, takes a burn shot at the crowd of bastards, and then, which was an awesome move, puts his head down and just does a clean
yeah.
sweep and just starts wiping everyone that's not burnt just off the edge into the dragon pit.
But also first before that, like Rainier just goes out to her box seats like she's at a
Oh yeah,
baseball game. Like she's like,
she's in
oh,
the glove box watching
yeah.
the show.
Like she didn't do that for Stefan Docklin. She was down there for that. But like I guess
Mm-hmm.
she's like, you know what? One thing I like how you mentioned like that all started. Like one, she didn't teach them the words like to Hyris
Oh
or
no,
Lucaris or like whatever like the serve and calm. Just didn't see that. She's like, yep, it's up to you guys now. The Dragon's pick. It's like that's well, you could help him out a little bit.
yeah.
You could help
She
him
didn't
out a
immediately
little
walk
bit.
off like, "It's up to you and the dragon now." Like, I've done all I can do.
The one thing I didn't like about this is like I when like the dragon starts going nuts, that her guards didn't let them leave. Like that was like,
Yeah,
cause like I've seen her as being like she's doing this. She's basically being like, oh, like if you want to do this, you can, and like you might die, but like you don't have to. Like that kind of I didn't like that because it was basically like she's like keeping them there and forcing them. I mean, also some of her
but
guards end up getting burnt.
if she didn't do that, I don't think we get either of them claimed because they both would have pieced out immediately. Like,
Well,
we
no, because
needed them to.
Ulf gets his ass knocked off that thing.
Yeah,
I
he
think that
does.
happens. But like I
Well, it
understand that
shows
part of it.
them getting stopped, and then but Ulf is getting up, so I don't think he would have made it out
Yeah,
anyway.
but like, I
But I
do
think
like
you needed a lot of people to distract Vermithor so he could eat some. So he's like, "All right, like I've definitely ate some. I've eaten enough. Like,
yeah.
this guy's yelling back, and this guy is the only one not running away. Like, you needed Hugh to stand out from the crowd.
Well, he
To
did run away, but yeah.
He ran away, but he kind of like protected. Like, so yeah. Anyway, they all get pushed out on the side. Fast forward, Ulf takes a torch off the wall, and he starts going deeper into the dragon pit. then we go to Hugh, who's just running amongst with all the other people, and you're just watching. For some reason, these people just running, thinking they can go right underneath
Yeah,
Vermithor, like sneak by him, like sprinting, and he's just lighting people up. You
yeah,
get guys running around on fire. Vermithor's eating them up, and it's not till you have Hughes behind a big rock with this other woman
girl.
bastard,
Which like it almost like
and
I don't know if she just thought like he was gonna grab her and give her as like a sacrifice, but she got upset that she was joined by him. I was like, why would you be upset? Like, wouldn't you rather be like a
yeah,
team and try and
well, yeah, she's
but
like, you took my, you're giving away my cover.
oh yeah, maybe that's what it is.
But so I think Vermithor like goes near, or he like
No,
goes
she
like
just
slam his head
dips.
down.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No, they run out of the rock, and then he like goes. Vermithor like slams his head down, and they get separated. Vermithor goes towards the woman and goes to eat her up, and then Hugh comes screaming out like, "Hey, over here! Like, come
yeah.
over to me!" And I
Distracts her
believe what
or
he
him.
yells out when Vermithor is facing him is, "I'm ready and
Yeah.
come on." Yeah,
Well,
I'm
it's
ready. Come on, and then Vermithor's like, "All right, this dude's not running
yeah.
away from me. Like, he's
I feel
actually,
like you can kind of like Vermithor, like you see like a little bit of like the fire start building up in his mouth, and then like, he obviously
oh yeah,
closes it and stops it, and then like I think Hugh's just like, nice, I did it. I gotta imagine then he gets on, but I mean Rhaenyra's watching that whole thing. What she's
yeah."
not watching is Ulf just go on a scavenger hunt in the cave with his torch. He's walking around trying to hide. He's limping, so maybe that injury's a little bit correct. And he steps
I,
in.
I think in Ulf's mind, the deeper and darker you get into a cave, there might be an exit in the end of it
Yeah,
because he's just going as deep as you possibly
but
can.
it's kind of weird because like when we've seen that before, there's clearly a huge exit right to left.
Yeah,
Like I think he
absolutely.
walked a weird way, but he he steps in like a hatchling of eggs, or I don't know, I forget what it's called, but like just like breaks it. Which like this is the thing keeping them warm. Like this is like what Damon would like go and find and make sure like they would get the eggs out of them just in case it
Hmm.
broke. So he steps right in that. Not good because the mother Silverwing pops out and like kind of starts to walk towards him. Ulf's like stumbling back and then Silverwing just nudges him a couple times, kind of like Sunfire did to Aegon.
Yeah,
Ulf falls down and it's like he just closes his eyes basically, just like I'm good. I'm good to die. I'm fine. But then, like just nothing happens. He just opens his eyes and Silverwing's just kind of chilling there. And I think one of the twos, like one of the similarities for both of them in like the that with like them claiming it was like they both like almost like welcome death. Like Hugh said, "I'm ready, come get me." Ulf just
hmm,
laid there and took it. Like both of them did not run away in the face of the dragons. They just stood there, stood their ground, or like in Ulf's, I mean Ulf laid there, but like
hmm,
they didn't. I mean Hugh ran away for a little bit, but like in that last moment, they just stood there or laid there and just
right.
welcomed death.
And to your point too, one of the things that Rhaenyra keeps reiterating whenever she's telling somebody about claim a dragon is to claim a dragon is to be ready to die,
Yeah,
which
and
really turns out to, it's like you're
yeah,
like, to the point you're making is kind of holds true. Is you had these two guys who looked at death in the face and like didn't run and was ready for it and was accepting it,
yeah.
which I think it turns out is a big thing to these dragons.
I do think it's kind of funny with like, I mean, Vermithor's nickname is the Bronze Fury. Hugh is a metal worker,
Yeah.
but also Hugh's grandfather, Jaehaerys, that was his dragon. Vermithor's only had one rider, Jaehaerys, who is
Hmm.
Hugh's grandfather. Uh,
Wait,
Silverwings,
are you
yeah,
Jaehaerys was the first and only rider of Vermithor?
yep, they were born kind of like I think with him and his sister
I
wife
guess that would make sense.
Alysanne is like they were the start of like the eggs being kept in the cribs kind of thing.
Yeah, that
Like
makes sense. I was
they're
thinking about the age wise, like how's that line up? But
yeah. So
Jaehaerys, I could see being like 100 years old at this
yeah,
time.
yeah. Vermithor is about 100. Yeah. So both Silverwing and um Vermithor were born to like they were like in the crib with Jaehaerys and Queen Alysanne. So they both only had one rider. So Ulf gets Silverwing, uh, which I mean obviously they're related somehow to them, but it's just kind of funny that like the mother dragon is the one that picks this like drunken uh I the actor's called himself this or his character this piece of shit, a flea bottom.
Mm,
So the mother dragon's like, let me save this guy. Let me save him.
yeah,
And Vermithor's like, oh, you work with metal, you're a tough dude. I'm gonna pick you. You're good. I got you.
yeah. This dude's a badass. I want him.
And I wonder like how much maybe Hugh might look like King Jaehaerys when he was younger, and he's like, "Wait, you
Mm.
kind of look like my old guy." Kind of almost like Sea Smoke was like, "You wait, you look like Laenor, my old rider. I'll pick you." If maybe like Vermithor's also like, "Wait, you look like my old rider Jaehaerys. I'm just gonna go with you."
Dude, I'll tell you, when Silverwing first wakes up, she is badass looking. Like,
Oh yeah, well, 'cause she just blends in so much with a rock, and that's when Ulf's like, "God damn it."
yeah, like when she first wakes up and like looks vicious, like she is like truly terrifying. Look like Vermithor just based off size alone, but Silverwing's face is creepy.
Yeah,
But yeah, awesome scene. I like the
which also
boat
like
planning was sweet.
she can clearly hide in like a, I mean, obviously a dark room, anyone really can hide, but like it's like Silverwing clearly blends in with like the rocks
Mm-hmm.
and like the bedrock of Dragonstone much better. Um, but then we go to the Green Council where there's like it's kind of funny now how there's only like four dudes that sit around the council because
Yeah,
Tywin Lannister I guess is probably going to get his brother. Allison was sent away. Otto's not there yet. Kristen Cole is out, and who knows where.
he's like sent out to war. I think is
Yeah.
he send him out to
Oh, he sent him.
Harrenhal,
Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, to Harrenhal.
which
But
that could be that what we get this final episode. Like maybe not a big dragon battle, but like something going on in I guess Caraxes is there though, so I don't know. That would be cool.
I'm assuming that'll be season three, just because it
Yeah,
probably just happened. I think if anything, because like, all the movements I think we're gonna get now have to be kind of by dragon because of how quickly it would be.
right.
Um,
I got you.
but
But
we get
continue.
Aemon, Laris, Master Orwell, and Jasper. They're just I kind of forget what they're talking about. I didn't really write it down because it doesn't really matter. But then just they hear
No, they were talking about the high towers being attacked by two different
oh the
fronts right
Beesbury's,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they just hear people yelling about a dragon, like dragon, dragon, get ready, get inside, and you know Laris and Jasper both look at each other like, oh, did we maybe fuck up? Not by telling them. And then
Mm-hmm.
Aemon kind of gets up quickly, like, oh, what the hell is going on? Opens the blinds and sees Silverwing riding around. Quickly leaves, and we see like the guards like, get the scorpions ready, and they're like kind of getting them up to shoot at Silverwing, I guess. Aemon quickly runs, gets on a horse, just shoves a guy for no reason. Gets on the horse, and I guess Vagar must be too big to put in the dragon pit because it's just out um, in the woods, basically, just chilling.
Yeah.
Just got to park the car in the garage, just way out there. My assumption is it's just too big.
It makes. I mean, definitely the Dragon Pit of King's Landing is definitely smaller than the one of Dragonstone as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, I would agree that I don't think we've ever seen Vagar in the Dragon. Like I think
No.
they always take food out to Vagar. She's always just
What's
like
I would
making
have
a whole new mountain formation out there.
I would have to imagine the dragon pit at Dragonstone's bigger, so maybe she could fit there. But obviously they're fighting, so she's not going to be there. But
Right.
either way,
I mean, it's big enough to fit Vermithor comfortably.
that's what
So.
I mean. Like, so I gotta imagine like she'd be able to fit there, but with the fact that they're opposing sides right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see Ulf kind of just going on a joyride because this is clearly right after he got on Silverwing and this is a little his first flight. And I think kind of some of the questions come down to like because Vagar sees him and starts to chase him with Aemon, and then as they're like flying back, I mean Dragonstone's over the bay. It's not very far. And then eventually Aemon just like stops him and it says like, "Oh, stop Vagar, no Vagar, flee, turn around." Turns around, but I don't get how in that part of the scene, Eamon has one eye. I
I
couldn't
was
see shit. How the
I
hell
was
did
just
he
gonna
see anything?
say, no shot from like the at the point where Aemon turns around, you can see the outline of the Dragonstone Castle. You cannot tell me that dude with one eye amongst the fog
Yep,
sniped out Rhaenyra and all three dragons. Like, there's no shot.
nope, none. That was the only thing that was like, what the hell? But yeah, but that happens, and then we get the one of the coolest shots of the episode, just
Yeah,
Rhaenyra walking up, right in front of Cyrax, who's like kind of just like at her back, like protecting her, and then you get Vermithor right behind them on like a rock a little bit above with Ulf on it, and then you get Silverwing then perched on top of the castle of Dragonstone, and they're all just yelling. I've seen a bunch of memes like it's like either they're yelling racial slurs,
yeah,
they're just like basically they're just talking shit to the Vagar, which is kind of funny. It's like yelling you like you fat bitch,
yeah.
like get back, you old
You old
hag.
hag, get out of here. I like too. I didn't look into this enough to confirm it, but someone said something along the lines of like Cyrax acting real tough with mom and dad behind her, which that would be kind of cool if Vermithor and Silverwing were the parents of Cyrax.
Well, I know they are like apparently mated together or like whatever. They've
Yeah, I mean
because
they
like
definitely are.
like their original riders were married. So I
Yeah,
think the
and
idea is
Silverwing
like they
has a protecting over there.
yeah,
It's definitely Vermithor doing the deed. But like it does make the scene funny where Cyrax is like ah, ah, like with her two parents behind her, like backing her up.
which I
Does make it
really
kind of funny.
with those eggs too. I really hope Ulf told them about that because like if those eggs are unattended to for long enough, they can just harden. So I really
Yeah.
hope he was like, hey, I found some eggs. You guys might want to go get those.
I might have crushed one, but there's definitely like at least two other good ones over
Yeah,
there.
I really hope he told someone. But like, I think one of the main thoughts, like, or like theories people are asking is like, was that on purpose, or was that like just like an accident? But I think it had to be an accident. Like, there's Ulf is it's his first ride. There's no way you're telling me he's
It's
good enough to kind of like um steer like
yeah,
Silverwing.
like he was clearly having trouble handling Silverwing, and there's no shot in hell Rhaenyra cleared the plan
Yep.
to send somebody who can't properly fly a dragon over King's Landing,
Yeah.
who is literally perimeter with scorpions and has Vagar there.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the point of all of this to get Silverwing immediately got
Yeah.
off the rip? Like you just got this new dragon rider, and
Yep.
Silverwing formidable dragon, and you immediately just toss her aside and like no, that was definitely as
Yeah.
soon as Ulf got on, they immediately hopped out and did a little joyride. But
That's it. And, like
yeah, that I saw people saying that too. Like, there's no like oh, was it a bait move? Like, dude, there's
it
no
worked
shot in a
out that
bait.
way, but yeah, it was not
It
intentional.
looked like it based off the way like Vagar came flying in and they were all waiting for him or
But it's
waiting for
like
her. But
that was probably because like once that happened, like Rhaenyra was probably like, oh, I need to go with Cyrax and go out there right now and try and get him
yeah,
back.
yeah,
But like one thing, like I said, going into the next episode, I kind of wonder how much is going to happen. But it's also because of the fact like how much teaching are they going to need to tell like for these guys like kind of boost their skills up as dragon riders. Like
mm-hmm,
I can't imagine Rhaenyra's like, oh, like we're good. Here are these like learn these here you Dracarys, that's all you need to know. Just Dracarys.
yeah.
That's all you need to know, and then we'll go out
How
and
much
fly.
Valyrian are you gonna teach them? Yeah,
Also, just
I
like
mean, she already
just dragon riding trips, like you clearly need to learn how to actually like steer them and do all this shit. Like I think we would need more than just half an episode of that before we actually get them in battle.
the next episode. We're gonna have some war going on between the Harrenhal, and then we're gonna go right to a classroom setting with Hugh, Ulf, and Adam learning High Valyria in a classroom with a notepad and pencil.
We get what's that? What was like the one science show we used to watch in class? It was like the one robot and the dude was like Brain
Oh
Pop or
yeah,
something.
Brain Pop. Yeah,
Just
Brain
it just
Pop on
getting episode
High Valyrian.
just episode. This is how to ride a dragon.
Yeah, Jakaris. You want to say that only in battle. Do not say that when we're in the dragon pit.
Angos means attack.
Yeah, but I mean, again, Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, no different. The episode before the finale is always just a absolute hit. This episode was incredible. The whole scene of Vermithor and Silverwing was great. Like Vermithor was so cool
Yeah,
looking. Like we've noted all three of them, but like there were three shots with Rhaenyra that were just shown so beautifully.
yeah.
The off the rip with her, Cyrax, Adam, and Sea Smoke looked awesome. When she has Vermithor to her back, looked so cool before the bastard
What's
tryouts.
it?
And then this final scene where Vagar turns around, and then you have Rhaenyra,
Yeah,
Cyrax, Vermithor, and Hugh back there, and then Silverwing and Ulf on the top of the castle. Like, it was
yeah,
just so many awesome shots that they pulled off in this episode that it was just beautiful to watch.
yeah. I think like it would have been like it was cool to see Vermithor outside in the daylight because like when he was in the cave, it was kind of hard to really see that bronze coloring on him. But when he
Mm-hmm.
was outside, like you really got to see that. So I thought it was kind of nice to see.
Yeah,
So
but great episode.
I was just
Excited
thinking
for the finale next week.
I might try and make a thumbnail that's I'm gonna see if I can put your head over either my or your head over Rhaenyra and then the other one just over Cyrax's head and we're just
Another
uh,
episode.
yep. All right.
But
Well, we'll see you for the finale next
yeah,
week.
everyone's excited. This is it. We're gonna have to
I
We
think we're only
might
getting
put
one more.
another poll out. Do we do
Sorry.
another poll for what we're gonna break down next? Like we should keep doing
Yeah, we could.
uh show breakdowns. But yeah, we'll discuss it more. I guess like we should discuss it. It's gonna be hard to talk on about something else outside the finale, but
Yeah.
like just to be ready for the following week, maybe. But
I wonder what like. I hope we don't have to wait 2 years. I do think we're only gonna get a third season out of this. I don't think we're gonna get four, but
yeah,
only time will tell. I know they've been cleared and like signed on for a third season. Like I said, I hope they kind of get started on that soon,
hmm
and we don't have to wait 2 years again. But we'll only see.
we shall
But yeah,
see.
we'll
All
see
right,
you
guys.
guys
Thanks
next
for
week.
watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.